What's up, guys? You know what's funny? If manufacturers actually paid attention to its consumers, people like you and I, they could actually build a really good smartphone. Back in 2013 of December, literally 2 years ago, Oppo was about to release the Find 7. And they did such a great job with the Find 5 that people were optimistic. They were like the company that were actually paying attention to its consumers. So I wrote a wish list. I wrote a wish list of what type of components the Find 7 should have. Take a look. Looking back at that list, 2 years later, the phone that resembles that wish list the most is the Nexus 6P. But is that list still good enough to compete with today's flagship phones? Without further ado, let's get started. I'm just going to get straight to the point. This is the best Android phone I've ever used. Let me rephrase that. This is the best phone I've ever used. It has the 3 fundamental properties of a good phone. Number 1, a great camera. The Nexus 6P and also the 5X are the first Nexus phones to actually have a really good camera. It's very consistent, and switching to HDR+ will actually give you even better results. You're also going to be able to record video in 4K, and overall the camera will not disappoint. Number 2, a good display. The Nexus 6P has a beautiful AMOLED Quad HD display. Everything looks nice and vibrant, and I also find the colors and saturation to be perfect for my liking. And since I do a lot of web browsing and watch a lot of YouTube videos, I really enjoy the larger screen size, which measures in at 5.7 inches. Number 3, battery life. The 6P has a solid battery at just shy under 3500 milliamp that can last me all day. But even though the battery life is good, and call me crazy, but I'd almost take a 1080p display just so I can be able to get 1 or even possibly 2 hours of extra on-screen time. But aside from the 3 important properties of what I look for when buying and recommending a phone, you're also going to get dual front-facing speakers, which is personally on the top of my list. And when you pair that with a beautiful display, the combination is amazing. Something new that you're going to find is a fingerprint reader, which is carefully located on the rear of the phone. And after using the fingerprint reader on the new iPhone, which by the way, it works fantastic, I can tell you that I prefer the placement of the Nexus 6P. In fact, when I take the phone out of my pocket, because of the location of the fingerprint reader, by the time I take it out, it's already unlocked, ready for me to use. Personally, it makes more sense and it feels more natural to me. But aside from amazing hardware, what makes the Nexus 6P so good is that it's running the latest version of Android, and all of that extra bloatware that you see from other manufacturers like Samsung are non-existent. You'll also be the first in line with updates that Google will release in the future, so you don't have to worry about never getting updates. I already did a video on my top 5 Android 6.0 Marshmallow features, so I'm going to leave that link down below, so make sure you guys check that out. What's interesting is that I made this list 2 years ago. And it's pretty much what we're seeing here with the Nexus 6P. There's a 128GB option and also 3 gigs of RAM, which is on my list too. Now the Nexus 6P is available in 3 different color combinations. You have aluminum, graphite, and frost. I actually ended up going with the graphite, and I ended up putting a D-brand skin just because the phone's a little bit slippery, so I'm going to leave it linked down below in case you guys are interested in picking one up for yourself. The only real deal breaker I can see from the Nexus 6P is its size, which personally for me it's not a big deal. In fact, the Nexus 6P is smaller than the iPhone 6s Plus. So unless you have an issue with larger phones, there is no other phone I could recommend right now that can give you so much value for your money and also be future-proof like the Nexus 6P. So what did we learn today, folks? If manufacturers would actually listen to its customers, pay attention, they could build a winning phone. It's not that hard. Instead, I see these weird combinations that these manufacturers do, and I think to myself, why? Why did they do that? Why did XYZ company add that? It makes no sense. Anyhow, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure you hit that like button. Also, let me know what type of hardware specs you want for your perfect smartphone. The Nexus XP is the real deal. I recommend it. Go out and buy one if you like the size. Thanks again for watching, and you'll catch me in the next one. Adios.